as we all know, Donald Trump and his white nationalist fascist regime is now going after immigrants, and they intend to round up immigrants to lock them up and to deport them out of the country. Let me first point something out. There are two things to discuss here. One is that Donald Trump is simply using immigrants as yet another cost center, as a grift to make himself a lot of money. But those who are genuinely white nationalists, those who are genuinely fascists, they don't get it. They don't get it. Donald Trump doesn't really want to deport all these folks. Donald Trump doesn't really want to crash the economy real quickly, because deporting all these undocumented workers would do just that. It'll crash the economy. It'll also leave our produce on the ground, and inflation will soar as the people who build our homes, the people who pick up our vegetables, pick our fruits, etc., are no longer there. So what's Donald Trump's real intent? Donald Trump's real intent is to monetize the immigrant. And how he does that? Okay, he goes ahead and he allows his friends to build prisons, to build concentration camps to place these immigrants into. And that's one cost center, because he satisfies some of his friends, his billionaire friends, who will give him kickbacks in some form. So he'll use detention centers as a cost center. The other one that he's going to do is then make sure that farmers and ranchers who depend on these undocumented workers, let them know that, we can look the other way if you give us a little something. It is all within the modus operandi of Donald Trump. If you understand this guy, you understand that he has no intention of deporting 10 million people. He's just going to use the immigrants as cogs, as widgets to monetize himself and his friends. Now, for those who are genuinely concerned because of the lies he's told about immigrants, one of the best communicators in the House laid it out very well. I want you to listen to Jasmine Crockett, and then we'll take it on the other side.
As one of the few people sitting on the dais who actually practice criminal law in the state of Texas, as well as licensed in Arkansas and practice there, as well as federal courts, one of the things that you said earlier, Mr. Beer, really stuck with me, is that there are already laws on the books as it relates to those violent criminals. And I know this because even though I hail from the great city of Dallas, I can tell you that when someone would come in and they were being held in custody for, say, a crime, they also had an ICE hold, okay? And that was for those that had maybe been deported before and had re-entered illegally and things like that. And so no matter what type of city you're in, I do want to be clear, federal law already, no matter if it's under the Biden administration or if it's under a Republican administration, we all agree that we want to be safe. And I think that's the first premise that we're losing, because there isn't something that is tatted on my head that says that I'm a Democrat and therefore you illegal bad person, don't come for me, go for the ones that have the R's on their forehead. Now let me be clear about this as well, because we've talked about crime and we've talked about fentanyl specifically. And this is also something that I have dealt with, unlike some of my other colleagues. And listen, I'm going to be honest, because I actually want to fix problems. And I actually have a really good senator in Texas. And I'm sure y'all can guess which one is the good one. But let me tell you, if we care about fentanyl, I have multiple bills for that. I started on the state level before everybody started talking about it. And I have federal bills that my senior senator has signed on to. So I welcome my colleagues because I actually want to make sure that my communities are safe. But as we start to talk about crime and statistics, Mr. Beer, I want to play a little game with you. It's called rhetoric versus reality. And so I want to ask you, my first question, is this rhetoric or reality? Immigrants commit more crimes than U.S. citizens.
On a per capita basis,
Rhetoric or reality?
oh, it is rhetoric.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask for unanimous consent to enter into the record this article, which states that undocumented immigrant offending rate lower than U.S.-born citizen rate, and this is from nij.ojp.gov.
Without objection.
Thank you so much. The next one, immigrants are just living off the federal government and contribute nothing.
That would be rhetoric.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Chair, I would ask unanimous consent to enter study that says undocumented immigrants pay almost $100 billion in taxes. This is from the Alabama Reflector.
Without objection.
Thank you so much. My final rhetoric or reality question is immigrants only enter at the southern border.
Rhetoric.
Okay, right, because they enter all kinds of ways. I just wanted to make sure that I put that out there. In fact, I have a few more questions because I still got a little bit of time, which I usually run out of time. We have talked again about crime, and there's been this overemphasis on it. And honestly, I can tell you that I don't want anyone to be killed, whether it's here or anywhere else. There is nothing about me as the child of a preacher that makes me say that I want people to die, okay? So I feel as if my colleagues from across the aisle have decided that they are going to make immigrants the boogeyman. It's insanity to me, but they also are showing compassion for victims, which they should, but they have no compassion for people that are contributing to making us great in this country. So interestingly enough, I'm curious to know, Mr. Beer, if you know if immigrants contributed to these particular crimes. There was a mass shooting in Buffalo, New York that killed a number of African Americans as they were trying to shop for groceries. Was the defendant an immigrant in that case? Do you know?
No, he was a U.S.-born citizen.
Thank you so much. Charleston, South Carolina, there were Black churchgoers trying to praise the Lord. They were killed. Was that an immigrant that perpetrated that or not?
No, that was a U.S.-born citizen.
Thank you so much. Now, coming home to Texas, there was an El Paso shooting. Do you know if that was an immigrant or not?
No, they were targeting immigrants in that case.
In fact, each of these cases, it was white supremacists. And so the last unanimous consent that I'd ask for is this article that states that white supremacists behind over 80% of extremism-related U.S. murders in 2022.
Without objection.
Thank you so much.
So for those who sit back and honestly think that, well, you know, we're not bad people, but undocumented workers are a drain on our society or a negative for society. I think Jasmine, Representative or Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett did a perfect job of dispelling those lies that are put out by Donald Trump and his ilk. But again, I want to circle right back to what I'm saying. Donald Trump's goal is not to really be the deporter in chief. The truth of the matter is Obama already earned that title. What his role is to monetize immigrants. And in doing so, he cares nothing about the pain and suffering and the destruction of families that's going to cost. He has no concern about that. So once you understand that, and once you understand what Representative Jasmine Crockett had to point out, the idea going forward is we should love our immigrants. More importantly, we should have immigration reform that quickly integrate these people into society in such a manner that neither they nor the working class are exploited.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.